Welcome to Performance Driven Living, the podcast where we question everything. We don't tiptoe around tough topics, we walk right into them. Not to provoke, but to get closer to what's real. You might not agree with everything you hear, and that's okay. The show isn't about being right, it's about being real. These conversations are meant to stretch your thinking, challenge assumptions, and spark something deeper. The views shared are those of our guests and may not reflect those of the host or team. And while we dive deep into health, performance, and transformation, this is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before making changes to your health or lifestyle. Take what lands, leave what doesn't. But whatever you do, don't stop questioning.
We are here at the Changing Life and Destiny Conference in Plano, Texas, and we are recording for Performance Driven Living, the podcast, and I have the honor of talking here with my longtime friend, Catharine Arnston from ENERGYbits. And Catharine says that she loves me to bits, and she even put it on her shirt for me.
I do. I love everyone to bits.
Catharine.
But mostly you.
Oh, well, it's most naturally. So, Catharine, I have to tell you, how do I want to phrase this? You talk
everywhere.
I know, exactly. I've known you and your brand for years now. We see each other at all these things. We've shared Uber rides even.
Yeah.
The reality is that you talk about a topic that no one wants to talk about, and it's kind of one of those things where you've marketed something that no one ever even considered to be a thing. And for those of you who don't know Catharine Arnston, she is the science and the brains and the energy and the creative, and she's everything behind a brand called ENERGYbits, which is literally algae.
Yes, we sell algae tablets, spirulina and chlorella algae tablets. Nothing else. That's all we do. We are algae experts.
But most people's experience with algae is trying to clean it off the fish tank, right?
I know.
And you're eating it.
Yeah.
So I think we need to first connect some dots there and say, what made you want to lick the fish tank?
Well, I was minding my own business with a corporate career, and then 16, 17 years ago, my younger sister in Canada, because I'm actually Canadian, developed breast cancer. She's completely fine. She completely healed.
Oh, good.
But her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet because it would help with her healing. They didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was or why it was good for her, so my sister called me because I love her, and I wrote a little book called The Algae Love Story, which we can talk about later on because it started with love. But it turned out an alkaline diet was a plant-based diet because of the phytonutrients that build your immune system, because she was going through chemotherapy. And also, it turns out there's a scientist by the name of Otto Warburg who won a Nobel Prize in the 30s for discovering that cancer cannot exist in cells that are slightly alkaline.
Yes.
So I have to believe that's the other reason why she wanted an alkaline diet. Anyways, I found her foods to eat, what not to eat. She did go through chemo, completely healed. I started learning about plant-based nutrition. This was 16 years ago. Nobody was talking about plant-based nutrition then. I thought, this is too powerful. I gave up my corporate career. I went back to school, studied nutrition, and then I taught plant-based nutrition at corporations and hospitals for a year, trying to get people to eat more vegetables. And this is what truly led me to algae, because as I was telling people what to eat and why it was important for them, everyone said, oh, I know my mother's been trying to get me to eat more vegetables, but I don't like the taste, or it gives me gas, or my kids won't eat them, or I throw them away. So I thought, okay, I have to find something that gives people the nutrition, the healing properties of vegetables, without any of the downsides, without the lectins, the oxalates, the other negative nutrients. And I just went back to everything I'd found for my sister. And when I got to algae, that's when the miracle happened. First of all, it's the most alkaline food in the world. It's the most nutrient-dense food in the world. We have a quote from NASA that says 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables, 1 to 1,000. There's 100,000 studies documenting health benefits of algae, reducing inflammation, preventing heart disease, preventing cancer, preventing Alzheimer's, preventing stomach distress, improving sleep. Absolutely every single health issue that we currently face has been proven in science to be corrected or prevented by the nutrients found in algae, many of which aren't found in any other food in the universe. And algae's been used in Asia for 60 years, because algae is not pond scum, it's an agricultural crop. Yes, it's everywhere, but it's grown as an agricultural crop. And here's the best part. It's grown and pressed into these little tiny tablets. And so each one of these tablets has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. Now, most people swallow them, but I chew them. So while I'm talking to you, Mark, I just had a plate of vegetables. This is the future of fast food. So it's not pond scum, although it does clean up your beaches and it cleans up your body too. Algae is the cleanup crew.
Sure.
But it has the highest concentration of protein in the world, the highest chlorophyll in the world, 40 vitamins and minerals. Things in here.
You're telling me the things that are good for us already exist in nature? This is brand new information. Who would have thought of this? What in the world?
Amazing. Well, and I will say I can't take credit for algae because it's the first life on Earth. By the way, spirulina is a bacteria, chlorella is a plant, but the first life on Earth was a cyanobacteria, like spirulina. And so there's something spiritual about being the first life on Earth. So I call spirulina spiritualina. Ooh,
clever.
Right, yeah. Anyways, it's Mother Nature at her finest. I will take credit for growing it safely and purely, so we preserve all the nutrients so that it has the highest efficacy. Because there's a lot of other algae that you can buy on Amazon or Trader Joe's or Target, and it's lower price than ours because we're considered a prestige, high quality product. But it's like getting a great deal on a great car, but you lift the hood and there's no engine. Looks good, doesn't perform. Yeah. So you're all about performance. You want performance, and you get it from algae that is grown carefully to preserve all these critical nutrients. Things like we grow ours in triple filtered spring mountain water, so there's no toxins absorbed by the algae. We don't use high heat to dry it, so we preserve important nutrients like one called, it's a mouthful, superoxide dismutase, but it protects your mitochondria from free radical damage. It's deactivated by high heat. There's also a blue pigment found in spirulina called phycocyanin. Doesn't exist anywhere else in the universe. Proven to kill cancer cells, but deactivated by high heat.
And by the way, for natural cooking, is a great alternative to all these unhealthy food dyes that we're seeing all over the place, right?
Yeah. So I tell people,
use this?
Yeah, and I tell people, please don't take fish oil because it's usually rancid by the time you get it. And I remind people, where do you think the fish get the omega-3 from anyways? They get it from algae, right?
Exactly.
So you save yourself, save the rancid, save the ocean, save the fish, and use spirulina particularly.
So, Catherine, I love this chlorella spirulina story. Like, I actually have these. I told you even beforehand. I have a drawer of them in my office. And during the day, I'll open a pack. And the best way that I found to eat them, because some people swallowing them, it's like swallowing a pill. They don't like pills. You said you chew them.
Yeah.
I actually take it, and this is actually advice you gave me years ago.
Okay.
Was to I actually put them in like a little pouch with pistachios.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite. We have some pistachios at our booth here today.
Like a little handful of pistachios with ENERGYbits mixed in.
Yeah.
And I just chew them like pistachios, and it tastes
popcorn.
amazing because it tastes like the pistachios, and you get the plate of vegetables in every tablet.
And
actually, it's incredible.
Pistachios are one of the low lectin oxalates. By the way, anyone who is carnivore, this is for you too, because you're not getting greens. Probably people go carnivore because they had autoimmune, and lectins and oxalates may have caused stomach distress. There are no lectins or oxalates in algae because they are in plants, which are land-based, and they develop them evolutionarily to protect themselves from bugs and predators.
Yes.
Well, algae came from the ocean. It's never been a land plant, never had to develop lectins or oxalates. So carnivores, paleo people, listen up. This is not just for vegans. This is just for anybody who wants high protein, high nourishment, and does not want to spend the time or the money, because if you took 10 tablets a day of spirulina and 10 chlorella, and we sell them in large bags, and we have a discount code, it works out to $1 a day. Now, so 10 would fill nutritional gaps. 30 is what we recommend for therapeutic amounts. So if you're trying to correct a condition or you want to prevent a condition, you really need 30. You could take more. Our NHL players, they take 75 spirulina before a game and 75 chlorella after a game, because spirulina gives you energy and focus, gives you extreme performance. We have ultrarunners. They run 100 miles with just spirulina and water. And the NHL players, they want it because they want the energy on the ice, the sharp movement, the focus on, as Wayne Gretzky said, skate towards where the puck is going. So there's a lot of fast movement. That's what spirulina does. It gives you energy and focus. And then after the game, all that energy and focus, well, maybe not the focus, but the energy causes lactic acid to build up. So chlorella is a detoxing algae. It pulls out all heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticides, lactic acid, alcohol, by the way, and removes it. So they do two completely different things.
I love it. I love everything about that. And it's from a performance standpoint, I would say obviously ENERGYbits are doing a lot for a person to physically
up their level,
perform
up their game,
and mentally perform when they're there, completely up leveling their game. But I want to pivot for just a minute in our conversation because I know you could talk about algae for hours.
Oh, I know. I'm in love with algae.
I want to take a quick pivot here, and the pivot I want to make is actually performance-driven living is this idea that we want to excel in all areas of life. And sometimes I'm going to say when we're about to, like Dan Pompa last night talked about this idea of when God's got you to a point that you're about to level up, that's when it gets scary.
Yeah.
And sometimes for people, what holds them back from their next stage of performance is honestly just it's a fear factor.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? This is uncomfortable. I've never done this. What that feels like.
Yeah.
You left a corporate career and started peddling algae.
Yeah, with no nutrition background or science background.
Correct.
I know.
I want you to speak to listeners who may be. I want the Catharine Arnston story here more than the ENERGYbits.
Sure.
I want you.
Okay.
What is going through the mind?
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to disclose this, but I know your age, and I know 16 years ago that would have been a scary move.
Yeah, I was 52, and I'm almost 70. Next year I am turning 70.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself this is age inappropriate, but then I said, wait a second. Who's determining what's age appropriate? I should be the one determining what's age appropriate, not the friggin' society.
I'm turning 50 in a couple of months, and I am 100% like, I feel younger than I ever have.
Exactly. Well, passion and purpose will do that for you, and that's the one thing. So when I found out, I started reading all this science, I discovered something called PubMed. I'd been in business for 25 years. I'd corporate, other entrepreneurial activities, nothing to do with science. I knew nothing. I didn't even know what a nucleus was. So we're talking really basic. So by helping my sister, I discovered this research online library called PubMed. And I started reading it, but I knew nothing. But I thought, oh my God, this is great. This is so interesting. And algae does all this. This can't possibly be true. Or I would know about it, or the world will know about it. But the trouble is scientists like to talk to other scientists and they don't talk to you about it. So as I was learning about it and realized it was true, and I thought, oh my God, I have to do something with this. But then the fear, but I don't have any background. But you have to do something about it. But I don't have any background. I didn't have any money, no science background whatsoever. My family thought I was having a breakdown. My friends thought I was crazy. I literally chained myself to my computer for 2 years. The only things I could afford to eat were eggs and algae. And the algae I didn't, and you know what my two favorite things are right now still?
Eggs and algae.
Eggs and algae. So back to your question, what was it? And I encourage everybody to do this. I just knew it made no sense whatsoever. But I thought there's this quiet little whispering voice that said, you have to do this. You have to do this. It was the universe connecting with me. And I kept arguing, find somebody else with a science background. I don't know science.
Well, you said nature needs a brand ambassador sometimes.
Right.
It chose you.
But I've never been a quitter. And I thought, well, I'll keep going until the universe tells me to stop. And honestly, like zero money. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I filed for bankruptcy during this time frame. I was in foreclosure for 3 years. I had my car repossessed. I mean, I'm an MBA, and the school I went to in Canada is Canada's equivalent of Harvard, at the University of the Ivy School of Business. It was so embarrassing, but I thought, I can't give this up. I have been selected for whatever reason. So I just kept going and hunkered down, and I entered contests. I entered, international, national contests to get visibility. I won an award from Entrepreneur magazine for, it was the third entrepreneur, but they flew me out to California and gave me this big award and $15,000 check, which I used to create new packaging. I taught myself package design because I thought I've got to get this out to people. You need a new you need packaging. How do you do packaging?
I'm a marketing guy, and I told you before this, that's one of the things I've always loved about your product is your packaging's incredible.
Well, it didn't come out of the gate looking as beautiful as it does now. So I went to Whole Foods. I got all the boxes for Laura bars, Kind bars. I lined them up on my dining room table. I measured the length, the width, the height, what was on the front, what was on the back, and then I made my own boxes because I had no Adobe skill, on PowerPoint. I would print it up on paper, cut it out and make miniature boxes. I still have them because if anyone ever doubts that I designed everything, I have all the miniatures. So that's how I designed everything, the boxes, the bags. And then I'd find someone who had a dye line. But as someone, I knew this was my path. It just felt so natural, and I was at peace. You know when you found your path when you're at peace. And it made zero sense whatsoever. But over the course of 15 years, I taught myself so much science that I have come up with an answer to why people are aging. And it's this damaged mitochondria, and the damage stops because of a nutrient found in algae called superoxydismutase that your body doesn't make after the age of 40. And I thought, well, again, the fear kept creeping in. How can me, a self-taught scientist, I called myself a citizen scientist, find a possible solution for chronic disease when there are, tens of thousands of scientists with tens of thousands of PhDs behind them that they can't figure out? And here I am. I think I figured it out. But I just kept going, and then I decided, lots of people didn't trust me or believe what I was telling them, so because I didn't have a PhD or an MD, so I said, okay, I'll get one. So last year, I graduated with my PhD in natural health.
Congratulations.
So now the people will feel comfortable, and I will feel comfortable. So my message to anyone listening, when you're trying to figure out what you're here for, first of all, it's to find joy.
Yep.
You're here to find joy. Now, my joy is nothing like my two sisters' joy, which they have families. They just thought I was this weirdo. I'm not like them. I love them to death, and one of them was the reason I started this. But I had to give up what they thought I should be using as joy. I had to give that up because my joy is unique to me. And what I'm doing now, this is my joy. Getting this out to market, finding the messaging, helping people be healthy. I now have built a team. I'm so proud of my team, and I'm proud of me because I've been an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, and building a company and a team is a completely different dynamic.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst part of the job.
Yeah, I know. You have to become a leader, not the doer. You have to be the inspirer and coach them, and you're not working with personalities. It is very time consuming. It's very difficult.
Well, Catherine, I've got to say, entrepreneurs, and I say this, I'm a marketing guy, you know that.
Yeah,
my business, Rise, is we're a marketing agency, and I work with entrepreneurs all day long, and they're all crazy. Every single one of them are crazy.
Yeah.
Me included, you included.
Yeah.
And I try to say this because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who don't get moving. I say they're entrepreneurial in spirit,
yes,
but they don't move, and it's that fear gap. It's that what if gap. It's that, but this, and you said bankruptcy, foreclosure, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember a point in my own business journey where I sold my car to meet payroll.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just that in.
You're in.
That there's burn
no
the
B
boats,
plan.
right? Burn the boats. There's no sailing home. We're burning the boats because we're on land now and we're sticking with it. And there's a grit. There's a determination about entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think I love coming to conferences like this, and part of it is we all go back to our offices and we deal with our daily struggles and, whatever. And entrepreneurs, we all get cash flow and we all get, the problems and dealing with legal, all the things we hate. They're part of the ante.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of potential business people, entrepreneurs out there that are like, is there something that we can do?
Absolutely.
That does that. And my own website at themarkyoung.com, actually, the words at the top are lead with passion.
Yeah.
And it's like, find what you love and just absolutely force it.
Yeah.
Because you say the universe called you into this. And it's like, and I believe that there is a call on each of us.
Absolutely.
And a call on each of us actually brings us into a place where we are in alignment. I was just talking with Philip over at Leland, and it's like where every part of us, our body, our spirit, our mind, our soul, all of it gets aligned.
Yeah.
And I love your story because it looked crazy on paper.
Yeah.
But you never question the alignment.
Inside, it made complete sense. And so what I would say to any entrepreneur or anyone who wants to follow a path that maybe your family hasn't ever followed or your community hasn't followed, because you struggle, because when we're kids, you never question, when you're learning how to ride a bicycle, you never question what if you fall off the bicycle? Of course you're going to fall off the bicycle because it's new, but you never question it. So you never say, what if it's wrong? As we get older, we become more fear-based. And so I struggled for so many years, and this is what I'm sure everyone else struggles, because you'll say to yourself, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong?
Right.
And so I flipped it recently and I said, what if I'm right? What if I'm right? And that just I got just joy. I got goosebumps on my, because you know what? Turns out I am right. But I had to go through that transition of what if I'm wrong, whatever. Because when you're a kid, you never question getting on that bicycle. And the society punishes us for making mistakes. And mistakes are learning lessons. You need to flip it. And not be afraid of making mistakes. They're a learning experience.
Every time I see children, especially when they're wearing shorts in the summer, and I live in Florida, so that's all year round.
Yeah.
And they've always got nicks and bangs and bruises and scrapes all over them. I mean, that's just part of being a child, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and somebody said something about kids, they're just always falling down there. And I'm like, yeah, we need to be more like that as adults.
Exactly.
Because we try to coat everybody in something. And I just recently finished a book by Jonathan Haidt. If you know who Jonathan Haidt is, he's incredible. He's a social scientist.
Yeah.
And it's called The Coddling of the American Mind.
Oh yeah.
And it's this whole idea that we just try to wrap everybody in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, because we've created this culture, I would say, that if everybody's in bubble wrap and you fall down, nobody gets hurt. And it's like, no, like some of the best lessons I've learned in 50 years are the ones that hurt the friggin' most.
Yeah.
Like, and I always say to entrepreneurs who are listening, like, just do it. Like, surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, surround yourself with people who've been through it, who can tell you, look, here I am on the other side.
Yeah.
Like it made no sense in the planning, but here we are.
Yeah. I lived in Boston, Massachusetts for the last 35 years, although I've moved recently to Miami, and there's a
Are you in Miami now?
I moved to Miami, yeah.
I did not know that. We're neighbors. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Coconut Grove is where I'm at.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm so in love with being there and being warm.
Oh my gosh.
But there's a college in Boston called Babson, and for a couple of years, they had ads in all the bus shelters, ads all over the city, and they glamorized entrepreneurship because that's one of their programs. And I think that's doing a disservice to entrepreneurs. There's about 0.0001% glamour, and the rest of it is grunt. And it's mistakes, it's failures, it's pivots. And so you need to get in there, like you said, just do it, and you will make mistakes, but you'll get stronger. But it's like, you know, if you don't go to the gym and lift weight that's more than you can carry, you're not going to strengthen that muscle either.
Yes.
You have to embrace difficulty as something positive, not something negative. And you're right, the society has taught us that we need to be safe all the time. Well, no, we don't.
No.
Not for breakthroughs.
But make sure that you are surrounded by people who understand what's going on in your world.
Yeah.
Because it is that band of brothers kind of mindset. And, and I'll tell you, I live by a word now, and my team knows it. I say yes to darn near everything, but it's because I believe in the power of proximity.
Yeah.
And just being in the room, like being here, being involved in what goes on here. It's like the relationships that I've built and the connections and the knowledge, the things that, I mean, hell, learning about algae, right? I wouldn't know that if I didn't just show up.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've unfortunately also kind of put ourselves in a world that I take in the news and learn everything from Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's great. Like, there's a lot of good things on there and there's a lot of terrible things on there. But at the end of the day, the reality is that we're relational by nature.
Yeah.
And I think more humans, particularly entrepreneurs who tend to isolate.
Yeah.
They tend to solopreneur. And it's like, we need people, we need community.
Yeah.
And to the extent that a lot of these mastermind groups have popped up all over the place, like, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. You know that. We both belong to the CHS group with Michael Fishman. Probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And I laugh because Michael tried to get me to go for years.
Yeah, me too.
And I kept saying no.
Me too.
And then the first time I went, I haven't missed a session yet.
I'm year 3.
So it makes me laugh. Catherine, I am so honored that you joined us, and I love your story.
Thank
so
you
much for being on. And I should say Dr. Catharine Arnston.
Yeah, well, you know.
But it's so impressive what you've done.
Thank you.
and the fact that your story is this grit story from zero to where you are now.
And we've been doubling revenue every year for the last 3 years, but we've earned the right to our success. And the other thing is, the trouble with isolating is that you think in your head what people want. You need to get out to the market. You need to talk to people, because what you think is what's needed is may be completely a mismatch, or it's the wrong timing. So you need to get out there and just do some reality testing. And there's nothing wrong, but you need to pivot. It can't be about you. It can't be about your ego. It has to be about being of service.
Thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For anybody interested in learning more about ENERGYbits, there will be links in the show notes. Feel free, ENERGYbits.com. Take a look in the show notes. Catherine's bio and everything will be in there too to learn more about her. And thank you once again for joining us, Catherine, again. My pleasure.
Thank you.